Come on! Get your motor running. Head out on the highway. Looking for adventure. And whatever comes our way. Hey, yeah, driving gonna make it happen. Take the world in a lemon race. Fire all of the guns at once and explode into space. Like a true nature's child. We were born to be wild. We can climb so high. Never wanna die. Born to be wild. Born to be wild. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, welcome back to Full Throttle TV and the Blackwater Products USA Truck Series. Tonight, these boys are in race number 2 of the round of 8. A big one here for someone at Texas Motor Speedway. I'm Dean Doucette, in the booth with me, Mr. Brad Patterson. Brad, big night for these guys. Texas, all on the line for a couple of these guys trying to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, it really is. We saw last weekend, we saw Brodie Hannah really put a stamp on his bid, if you will, for the championship. Last week, we also saw a couple of competitors kind of falter. Terry Cooper Jr., one of those in mind, not to his own doing, but connection issues put him to the back of the field, currently 38 points back, roughly call it 17, 18 points out of that fourth place position. So a lot of guys moving last week as far as points, and they're going to try to come in here and make it up tonight.
Yeah, most definitely they are. And you see there are top 8 playoff contenders. Richie not shown in green for some reason, but you see Brodie Hannah shown in red. And Brodie got that win last week, a dominating performance for him. So he'll be locked in, and Terrell out front. Person in really good shape. And then the battle's on. 40-47, 40-46, 40-45, Ferland, Coy, and Helm. And then you got Torgerson within striking distance at 41. Cooper Jr. seemingly out, as he is not here this evening.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a rough playoff snap for Cooper Jr. here, especially the second half of the season. It's a shame not to see him here tonight, but it's probably got a good reason not to be here right now. But qualifying is still underway, and these guys are really putting a big emphasis on qualifying the last couple of weeks.
Well, they are, and we've seen that effort out there, and how it's huge out here to get out here and get a good qualifying spot, or in particular to not put yourself at the rear of the field. Well, let's look in at our keys to the race. I guess you could add qualifying into that, but patience. Always key in these big races. You got to be patient here. You got to take yourself out of things early on. Tire is going to be big. Who's going to, go on that long run? You're expecting green flag racing here, not necessarily get it all the time at Texas, but it has that potential. So you got to watch that tire wear and pit strategy. I mean, I always leave that to last, Brad, because something we like to talk about a lot. But I don't know. Well, what do you think the big key is here tonight?
Oh man, staying clean is going to be very big. Obviously, you can't really get yourself in situations where you can ruin the race truck or anything like that. But ultimately, I mean, I think we've seen it time and time again. It's all about pit strategy. Making yourself come in on the right strategy, and not only just the right strategy, but just executing on and off pit road, not sliding your box, getting everything you can on your in lap and your out lap.
Yeah, great points there. So boys start a little warm up here. See Schultz coming out on the track. There's Williford coming on out. Richie Coy, the 19, he's been good as of late. Could this be his night, Brad?
I think very well could be. I mean, we saw in the round prior, Brodie Hannah got off to an early start, got himself locked in. And then he really turned all of his attention over to his Fury Motorsports teammate, the 19 Richie Coy. They were able to work their match together and get him solidly lock into this next round. So I would assume that that's going to be the number one priority for that team is to get this 19 into victory lane and get him moved on to the championship.
Peek in on that Blackwater car, Mr. Stephen Loomis out here. And Stephen not in the playoffs here, but he sure would like to get a good finish. Been very busy with his umpiring duties back in his hometown, and finally back on the track in a more regular fashion. Expect him to have a decent run here tonight. James Torrey out here on the 2 machine. James, James has been quiet this season, Brad. Here's another guy, him and Loomis both, really looking out here to kind of establish themselves for next season, get a little momentum going.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's really what it's all about. Just getting, I don't want to say shake the rust off because both of these guys, seasoned veterans, obviously know what they're doing, but, just kind of get the feel for the race again, establish yourself, maybe look to find a team or to get on a team, kind of audition, if you will, for some of these owners out here.
All right now, these guys take up their warm-up, test out their pit entrance and all that. We'll take a short commercial break. We come back, we'll have your starting grid.
North Carolina, where the field is rolling out for the start of today's 400-lap race on this 0.625-mile racetrack. Here's the starting lineup. On the pole from Dawsonville, Georgia, in the number 9 Coors Ford qualifying and Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison.
Georgia, Bill Elliott straining car number 9 to bring it home. 10 car lengths. Bill Elliott, 2-time winner of the Great American Race. Now the out of fuel Bill Elliott and Dale Earnhardt is going to win the Trans-South 500, his second win of 1987.
Back here at the track, just a minute to go before we get going. And right now, why don't we get everybody to rise up out of your seats and enjoy the singing of the national anthem by Alicia Shipman.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs burst
All right, back here at Texas, all those cars lined up and looking beautiful. Let's get into tonight's starting lineup. Brodie Hannah, last week's winner, back on the pole tonight with a time of 29.577. He is on a roll. Second, going to be Troy Torgerson in the 98. In row number 2, Brian Helm and Bernard Persson, both contending here in the playoffs. Zach McDaniel will start 5th with Richie Coy in 6th, and Coy, of course, in the playoffs as well. Nearad will be in 7th with Ferland 8th. He's in a decent spot as well. And starting 9th, Joe Flanagan with TJ Bartell on the outside of row number 5.
Stephen Ruman in that double zero is going to roll off 11th tonight with the 4 of Bobby Terrell. 14 of Lane Allen is going to roll off 13th, followed by the 83 of Jason Spear. Chris Stouffer in that 13. The 91 of Kenneth Schultz in 16th. Palicki, Torrey, Williford, and Jolly is going to roll out our top 20.
All right, you see the rest of the field there to find your favorite driver here tonight.
Looks like a who's who up here in the top 10.
Yeah, it always is up here. Hannah and Torgerson, Helm and Persson. Here we go as Hannah leads them down.
Green flag, green flag.
Down into corner 1, quite a little battle. Torgerson hanging on the outside, but looks like that inside going to prevail. Usually does.
Yeah, the outside had that better radius right there. Right now you're going to see the 26 of Helm glued right to the back of the 23 of Hannah. Hannah going to be out front. Helm trying to get by and trying to clear himself from the 98 of Torgerson.
Oh, and he's lost it. He saved it through the grass. No caution. We continue green. Did something else happen there, Brad?
Yep, 08, 11. The 08 actually came all the way across the track, bounced off of pit road, while jetted all the way back out of the racing service. I think that's ultimately what brought out the caution.
All right, let's try and get a look in and seeing what happened to Jolly and Solari. Here's Sylvain Jolly at the back here, way up around the corner. You see the smoke. Helm loose, down and in. Jolly in the 08, everything's all right. Oh, and he tags a wall, comes down, and gets into Solari. So he just lost a little bit of his visual seeing that smoke. Let's get another look at it here. See the smoke, he's coming through, and I don't know, it's an easy place to kind of misjudge, but that's a weird little hard lick. Going to take Solari out. Solari not going to be happy with that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, directly in front of him, you had the 14 of Lane Allen. He was down off the racing surface as well. I mean, nowhere close to him. I don't know, maybe one of those situations where you're so worried about a couple of cars to your inside in the grass, you just drift yourself up into the wall.
Yeah, it very well could be. Not sure what actually happened there with him, but nonetheless, we got our pit board up here tonight. We'll see Torrey's in, Allen is in. You got Adam Newton on pit road, and of course Solari and Jolly in here as well. Looks
I'll
like
tell you one person whose attention all that got, that'd be that 4 Bobby Terrell. That was right both in front and behind him.
I'm sure it did grab his attention. Bobby back in 10th place tonight, so he's got work to do. See Lane Allen getting a full service here in the garage. Perhaps getting a little damage fixed too, tires. But Torrey and Newton, gas only for those two, so interesting decision. I always like to top up if you're at the back here like that.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll top off some of those guys probably coming down. Not sure if they got a little piece of it as well. Just check the fenders, make sure everything's clear. Get a clear bill of health, if you will. Get a couple of gallons of fuel. Might pay off a little bit later on.
Down and away for Allen, so he's going to be fine. You see Hannah coming around the track, leading the crew. So interesting start here. A little strange incident we have there. Well, Helm actually, it was interesting watching him get loose early like that. Is that something you need to expect here at Texas, Brad? These trucks going to be a little bit hard to handle here in the early bit until the tires come in.
Yeah, I really think it is. I mean, not even just here at Texas. I think that's generally all the trucks, at all the tracks. We see it time and time again. These guys, make the trucks extremely loose, and that's what they do. Loose is fast, and they're right on that edge trying to control it. And early on, especially with the green racetrack and low air pressures, you really kind of got to be a little gentle, and you really can't be too aggressive with it, or it'll bite you just like that, because you are setting up for loose truck.
All right, so Helm in jeopardy. Let's take a quick look in on our championship points again. We'll see. Helm not in. I thought Helm was in. Or he is in. My mistake. So he's in 6th place. Really, this is really bad news for Brian Helm. Now back in 21st position. He's going to have to recover here, Brad, to get back in this thing.
Yeah, he's really had kind of an up and down playoffs, but he's had a couple of races like this where he's done extremely well. I think just a few races ago, he was up in the top 5, caught the wall, kind of slid back into the mid-20s or something, and then got his repairs, did a smart thing, and just kind of made his way. I think their truck is fine though, and that's really the biggest thing. I think he really got away with one there.
Yeah, I think you're right. He did kind of get away with it. We'll see how that plays out. One more lap under yellow here, and it'll be Hannah, Torgerson, Person up to 3rd, Coy's up to 4th, Nearad and McDaniel, Ferland, Bartel, Flanagan, and Bobby Terrell. Of course, we got Steve's Vasis out there watching. Always good to see you out there watching us on Facebook, and we'll get a little Accent LED update for you right shortly after we get going here at the start of this race. I think Claude currently sitting in 7th place. And who else do we have in here? Well, Jolly involved in that wreck, so it's really going to be on Ferland and Claude in the playoffs, so he's in a decent spot right now. He's got to get through this thing and stay safe. We talked about it, Brad. Patience. Can't be throwing it away early here.
No, definitely not, especially when you're talking about ties in the points and 1 point separating people and everything like that. So, I mean, you really have to be all over it, especially if you think you're going to be able to get locked into that 4th position.
All right, pace car off the track. Hannah and Torgerson up front.
Green, green, green.
Green down and away. Dead even start. Torgerson rolling that high side pretty good. Person trying to shove the 23 down into 1. Almost gets a little squirrely there.
Yeah, for a minute there, I wasn't sure if he was going to try to help him or he's going to try to put it 3 wide. As you see, the 23 a little bit loose on the bottom and stuff, getting a little boost from that 8. It doesn't really look like the 23 wants to help right now. It's Torgerson on the outside, rolling that top side very well.
Yeah, I mean, down the track, the 23 goes there. I don't know if he's a little bit loose from that pushing, but you're right. I'm not sure he wants that help right now, but he's got it. Oh, and almost contact with Torgerson.
And see, one thing that Brodie can do is Brodie can definitely sit there and hold a good wheel. He can be aggressive he wants. He's playing with house money. He knows he's locked in. He's going to do everything he can to bring home a trophy tonight. Racing for points isn't one of those things he has to do right now.
Yeah, that's exactly true. I mean, he can afford a wreck, others can't. So, I mean, we had that in another broadcast where the guy not in the playoffs gave us a new perspective. He says, I can do things they can't. I can be more aggressive. Usually it's the opposite. You know, you're trying to be nice and give guys room. We're in the playoffs. He's saying no, that they're the ones who got to let out because they got more at risk. So it's an interesting concept there, Brett.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you really got to think about it. We're doing one of those really tight points battle like we're seeing all up and down this field. You know, what's it worth to you on lap 10?
Absolutely. We check in here. There's Bobby Terrell back here, Stouffer, TJ Bartell riding that high side, and watch out for him if that high side gets hooked up, because TJ, back before they changed this track, used to love the high side here at Texas where nobody else would run it, and he could be dominant. You see him way up the track.
A little bit further back than that, we're going to have the battle. It looks like it's going to be the 00. It's going to be Steven Vrooman getting worked on by the 18 of Brian Bliss behind him. You talked about him earlier. That's going to be James Torrey and Andrew Politsky. Then we're going to find that 26 of Brian Helm. Brian Helm, you know, involved in that early incident, trying to make his way up. So far, hasn't really made any progress since he dropped the green flag this time.
That might be good, though. I mean, we brought up patience. Do you think Helm kind of learned his lesson here and said, look, I got a good car, you know, good truck. I can come through this field. Let's be patient early here, get this tire cycle started, and maybe we'll start picking them off after that.
I don't know. I mean, that truck still looks extremely loose, even up there on the top side. I'm hoping that this is a situation where he thinks he's got that thing set up for the long run. You know, it's extremely loose, if you will. Early on, he's got to get a little bit of wear and tear into those tires, and then hopefully that thing will come on. You see him right now starting to make a move on the 91 towards the bottom of the track. But that truck still does not. It looks very edgy.
It looks fast, though. I mean, he's coming through. Put Helm up to 18th place. Let's check on our leader. We got Hannah, Torgerson, Person right there. Then you got Coy, McDaniel, Nearad, and Ferland right there as well. I mean, there's a bunch of them, but we're starting to get a little bit of a break up here. Not much, but a little bit.
Yeah, these guys still continuing to kind of run a little single file, and it's going to make me wonder, you know, how important is the draft here? You know, will the draft allow these guys to get that separation from the fall off of the tires, or is the draft going to kind of hold these guys together? We've seen it other tracks this season where the draft really doesn't allow them to get away.
Yeah, I mean, this is what it seems like, right? The draft, you'd think you'd be able to break it with 1 and 2 being a little slower these days, but very, very important here in the trucks. And from what I'm seeing, it looks like Hannah's hooked up. He likes this track, or did like it before the changes, I should say, but he's pretty hooked up here tonight, and he's going to be tough to beat. Torgerson, he's been tough all season across 3 series, so I mean, they got tough competition up here.
Yeah, I mean, really, the top 5, you know, there's nobody to sleep on right there. I mean, Bernard Person, this truck's looking really good on that bottom. And then you're going to have Hannah's teammate, Richie Coy. You know he's going to have a setup underneath that truck. And then Zach McDaniel. McDaniel's a very accomplished driver here in the series. And then you get back to Nearad, Ferland. I mean, you know, this top 10 is just littered with high-caliber drivers that on any given night could take home the win.
Check in on Bobby Terrell, sitting in 9th. He's up 3 spots on the night. And, you know, we got to watch Bobby, too. We're just getting started here. Bobby, known for the long-run ability, and we'll see if he can come in here a little later on in this run.
Looks like that 23 is starting to fade just a little bit. It seems like the 98's really starting to get a little bit of run. Obviously, the 23 having to work up the racetrack just a little bit, not being able to rotate at least in 1 and 2 down on the bottom. As you see a little bit further back, Richie Coy starting to pop out on the back stretch, and they're just trying to get a good look.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what the 23 has got for the long run. He's had a good piece the last couple of times out. And we'll see if that garage can come up with a similar thing now. Right now, Torgerson looking good, chasing him down. Person hanging in there tough as they start to distance themselves ever so slightly from the pack.
I've been watching the battle right now. That's going to be a battle between that 19 of Richie Coy and the 42 Zach McDaniels. That's going to be for 4th place. looks like McDaniels can get through 1 and 2 a little bit better. He's able to really close in on the back of that 19, especially down the backstretch. And right here, you'll see he gets off the corner just a little bit lower than the 19, able to put the power down. You know, but once he gets down here into 3 and 4, he just really doesn't have anywhere to go. The 19 seems to work kind of center off better, and just kind of loses a little bit. As you see, the 42 just kind of yaws out just ever so slightly there.
Here comes Bernard Person making a move on Torgerson. Watch out for Person at a track like this. He's been known to run, you know, he's got a way of rolling the bottom here. And if he gets that thing rolling, watch out.
Yeah, for a bit I was going to say he's going to have to watch it not to get freight train. Just as I said that, the 42 made his move on the 19. 19 be able to get clear again, but the 8 and 98 is still bad. You know, that 23 of Hannah's looking in the mirror, and he's got to be liking what he's seeing.
Oh yeah, he loves this, but I don't think he's going to love Bernard Person coming. So Person taking that spot. Here comes Coy now. Coy underneath of Torgerson, and Torgerson stuck on the high side. He's not liking this one bit up here.
This group did able to break away a little bit. I think the 98 might have got a little piece of the wall there.
Yeah, he was awfully high. He's trying to get a big run and get that spot. Not able to. Coy going to jam it in there.
And this has been one of the falters of the 98. When he's been beat, or not necessarily beat, but when he gives up a position, he fights extremely hard to try to get it back. And we almost saw it right there, you know, just being a little over-aggressive, trying to get back into your spot or to get your spot back. You know, you can brush the wall and you can lose a heck of a lot more than just one spot.
Zach McDaniel dealing with Dale Nearad right now. Claude Ferland right there as well. These three are really going at it.
Yeah, I think that 42 might be used up the tires a little bit too much. Battling with the 19, you see him extremely loose, kind of catching the apron right there. Through 3 and 4, the 03 and Nearad all over the back of them as these guys start to kind of fall off the back from the 19 right now. It's going to be a 4-truck battle for the lead. A small gap. Looks like the 42 might be able to bridge that. But behind this group, that 4, Bobby Terrell, looks like he's starting to close in.
And no surprise, Bobby now up to 8th place. Starting to make his way towards the front. Going to be dangerous even back here. He'll close in. So everybody's always got to be aware where the 4 is. Up front, still, Hannah, Person, Torgerson. Now it looks like these guys pretty content to ride. I mean, I don't know if Hannah's just got the 8 covered. It looks like he does, Brad. Could the 8 just be, you know, kind of chilling out here for a little bit?
I mean, it wouldn't be a bad strategy at the end of the day. I mean, really, what's the difference? I think if these guys, if the draft is too much right now, the draft is not really letting you get away. I mean, and you're in this playoff hunt. Does it matter if you're running out front versus second? I mean, you can't get away if you're the leader. If you're second, you know, you can sit there and you can rely on the draft. Maybe you can save a little fuel. Kind of doubtful. I'm sure these guys are running pretty hard. Ultimately, I think it's all about saving the tire and, more importantly, getting on and off pit road.
You look back in on Brian Helm underneath Sherwood Williford. Williford, always a tough pass. He's going to fight you every corner. And Helm finding that out right now as he's down low as Williford rolling the middle of the high groove. I think Williford going to hold him off. So Brian Helm making some progress back up to 13th place, but he's got some tough passes ahead of him.
He's going to be one of those drivers that I'm going to be looking for to probably do a short pit. Well, that 26. I mean, I would have to assume that, you know, do a couple of laps early, kind of roll the dice, try to get out there, maybe some clean traffic, got a oxymoron there, if you will, but just get some clean track with some fresh tires and try to make some lap times.
Is that one of those new laundry detergents?
It's Canadian.
We got here Richie Coy trying to get by Torgerson. He's had a couple of good runs. Here's another. We'll see what he can do down into one.
And you see what this has done. This battle is really pulled Bernard Person and Brodie Hannah get away as Coy to the inside of the 98 of Torgerson, still battling side by side. 19 not able to really put the power down. 98's going to have a little bit more momentum on the top side. I think it's just going to be a stalemate. They're going to be back to being dead even going in the corner.
Coy is just a little bit better. Teammates with a 23. He's going to clear him. I don't know if that was actually clear or not, but right there, almost touching bumpers, put Coy up to third. You know, his teammate Brodie Hannah out here leading, and Person all over him now.
Yeah, it's almost like the 98 was trying to set up for a crossover and, you know, went to the bottom to do it, and the 19 just said, no, I'll just stay here. Oh, they're battling heavily right there behind him again on the 03 and Nearad. And Bobby Terrell's actually caught on the back of this group because he's on the outside of Ferland.
Yeah, Bobby going to the high side to try and make a pass on Ferland here. And I don't know if that's wise or not. I couldn't tell you, but if anybody can do it, it's Bobby Terrell. And it looks like he's going to roll in there deep. That's a pretty good move by the 4 there.
Yeah, the 42 and the 03 directly in front of them. They've been fighting lap after lap. You see right there, the 03, he does that just about every time on his backswitch. He dives to the bottom. I think right now the 42's had enough of it. He's just going to let him by. So I think the 4 was just trying to pick the lane that was going to move that time back.
Here comes Bobby again, seeing an opening. And it's not there quite yet. But Bobby's going to have to do battle with 2 tough drivers here if he wants to move forward. And Ferland all over the back still. You're not going to shake the 44. Go back a little further, you see Jason Spear making a move down low. And he's got Helm right with him. Helm's still battling these guys, and he's taking to the high side. I think he likes it. A little bit loose there, but he's hanging on, and it's fast. He rolls by Spear. Now Helm going to set his sights underneath the 53 of Joe Flanagan.
Yeah, it could be one of those situations where, you know, you talked about earlier, you know, Helm trying to be patient in the back, you know, knew he, whoa, big slide right there on 26 on the exit there. That truck does not like the bottom of the racetrack, especially in 1 and 2.
No, it's still too loose out here, and he's going to have to fight that all night long, gather it back up, and Sherwood Williford is going to get right on him and see if he can make a move back underneath.
Yeah, that's just it. You know, you're battling, you're trying to take a spot from the 53. Little slide, next thing you know, you got another competitor on the inside of you trying to take that position. So it's kind of one of those deals, 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
Exactly. 26 trying to hang on the outside, gets a big run and takes that entrance there. Wow, that was a big run.
Yeah, you gotta wonder though, is he confident in that truck being able to put it down on the bottom and make it stick? I think he's got a pretty good handle on it as far as being on the top side, but every time he tries to really dive it to the bottom, especially on the exit of the corner, you see the truck just kind of yaw out. Even there in the middle there, it's not comfortable. The back end not being able to hook up because the 33 is going to pull back up on the back of him.
Well, the 33 actually yawed out a little bit there, as we can see the low line in 1 and 2 not agreeing with people right now. Back up front, Brodie Hannah starting to open up a little bit of a gap over Bernard Person in second. Richie Coy sitting in third. I think he's closing. Troy Torgerson fourth. Dale Nearad fifth. And guess who? Up to 6th place, Mr. Bobby Terrell. He's bringing Claude Ferland with him.
Yeah, and Terrell's truck looks really good. It's flat in all of the corners, exactly what it needs to do. You're not really seeing that truck yaw out at all. And I think it's a situation of, you know, tire saving. He's definitely one of the guys that knows how to take care of his tires. I mean, he is extremely quick in closing up on the back of the 03.
Yeah, I mean, he just rocketed out of 4 compared to everybody else there. He's got something in turn 3 and 4 for sure. And you see him, he is closing fast on these guys. So the 4 coming towards the front.
Yeah, that last lap, he's the fastest truck on the racetrack, faster than our leader, Brodie Hannah.
You see Nearad now shooting underneath of Troy Torgerson. He sees Bobby coming. He says it's time to go. I can't wait around anymore. He makes that move. Good pass by the 03.
This is where you really got to watch it if you're Bobby. You know, coming up on a battle, if you will. They've been battling lap after lap, and you got Ferland. Ferland is all over the back of it. One little misstep, he chooses the wrong line as far as the guy who wants to follow through top side, bottom side, and 44 I think is going to fill that gap. You know, directly behind them, you're 2 wide with Stouffer and McDaniel.
Watch that, Stouffer able to get by. They almost had a little contact there, but everything all right. Bobby starting to move up the track a bit here. And I'm not sure, but I think this is on purpose as he searches around for a little better exit speed.
Truck probably loses the nose a little bit, being right up on the back of that 98. A little bit of aero looseness, trying to see exactly what he can do. You see him just kind of floating around, seeing if he can come off a little bit lower. Just trying to really carry the momentum. Looks like up front, Bernard Person still in the second position, but right now, Richie Coy in that 19 starting to close in on the back of the 8 of Bernard Person.
Yeah, Richie Coy, he's coming. I mean, him and Brodie Hannah both hooked up here tonight, and they're going to be tough to beat. There's no doubt about that. They've been 1-2 in a few races here lately, and seems like that trend might continue here tonight. Back to Bobby Terrell here. He looks underneath Troy Torgerson. Not quite there, but Torgerson gives him racing room. Bobby says, I'll take that, and he's going to move underneath him. We'll see if he can get the run off the corner here.
He's going to that bottom side. He looks like he's going to bring the 44 Ferland. Ferland's going to try to close in and take advantage of this situation as well.
Yeah, Ferland's been really good. I mean, since Bobby Terrell got by him, he's been all over his bumper, and he hasn't left him. So he's his fault. I think he likes what he's seeing. He's saying, I'm going the same place you are, Bobby.
Hey, if you're going to follow a driver around the track, that's the driver to do it.
No doubt about that. Bobby's still working on the 98 of Troy Torgerson. Ferland sitting back there waiting and looking.
Richie Coy has caught Bernard Person.
We'll shift up there and see Coy is up in right on the bumper now of that 8 machine. This little cloud hits the track here. Perhaps a chance to dig in and get a little more grip here on the track.
And we talked about pit strategy earlier on. You've got to be thinking those pit stops are starting to become imminent. As we just finished lap 43, it's 134 laps. So you got to think that these guys are probably going to be two-stopping it. Probably coming in probably about the next 5 to 10 laps.
Yeah, I mean, if they're two-stopping it at any moment now, I guess. I mean, 45 would be your thirds, but I think they're going to be looking at one stop. Isn't that usual? I'm not sure here, Brad, but pit stops could be imminent. I mean, one stop would be, 67 laps? Can they go that far?
I'm not sure they can go that far. I can't remember my calculation, but I don't think you can quite do almost 70.
I think this is a long truck race compared to some of them, so I think you're right. I think this is a two-stopper here, and we're going to be already looking at people thinking about short pitting here, I would imagine.
Yeah, Jason Spear right now, I hear that the 03 and Nerad's going to be coming by this time, so Nerad going to relinquish fourth spot. Torgerson also in fifth behind him. He's calling in. Sounds like he's going to be coming down this time as well. His pit stops looks like it's about to get a busy place.
All right, Hannah out on the track. There's Coy. He's getting by Bernard Person. So very interesting. The 19 has gotten by, and we're back in the same position that we've been in, 1-2 for Fury Motorsports.
All right, a host of drivers coming to pit road. Looks like 8 or 9. You got the 03, the 98, the 44, the 33, and several other drivers coming with them.
Yeah, we got a whole pack down here. Troy Torgerson near the front of this group. He's at the right sides up. Behind him, Dale Nearrad. Here comes Coy in person on pit road. Hannah staying out. So Hannah always going to get those extra tires. See Terrell's in. Helm now right behind Terrell on pit road. So Brian Helm, between pitting and his driving, has caught back up to where he was, or almost.
Let's just hope he makes a little adjustment, tighten that thing up just a little bit, get a little closer. Looks like our leader, Brodie Hannah, he's going to peel off pit road right now. He's going to be coming pit road. So it looks like we're going to cycle through at least our top 10. We'll all have been made their way down to pit road.
See Stouffer coming in, McDaniel coming in. That's going to relinquish the lead to TJ Bartell, but he's going to come in. And that's going to make Brian Bliss your new race leader, the 18, leading a lap there, so he'll get himself a bonus point. Brodie Hannah still on pit road. We'll stay with him here until he pops off a pit road, and we'll see where Coy's at. Here he comes, coming off a pit road now. There's Richie Coy coming to the start-finish line. He's got Nearad all over him, and I don't think they can beat Hannah down through the corner.
No, I don't think so either right there. I think Richie Coy had a terrible 3-4 that time because Nearad came from a long way back and to be able to pull even on the top side right now. This is only going to help Brodie Hannah as he's able to get out clean with the clean track in front of him, and they're running side by side. That time the 03 runs high up the racetrack, 19 able to solidify himself back in second place.
Yeah, and you see Person slip down to 5th, so once again, our pit stop major, if you will, Brodie Hannah, getting on and off better than anybody, had the lead, has now opened it up a little bit more, up to 1.4 seconds. So great job here of getting it on and off a pit road by the 23. Coy's in second. Well, actually, Bliss still leading, by the way, but Hannah's in second, Coy third, Nearad in fourth, Bernard Person fifth, Torgerson, Ferland, and Terrell back here in 8th. Then it's Spear and Helm, and Helm's got the 53 peeking around on him.
Yeah, surprisingly there, Terrell lost a couple of spots and came in right in front of both Ferland, and I believe he's actually, by the time he made it back out on the track in front of Torgerson, both of those gentlemen able to make it by, but give it the tip of the cap, if you will, to that 44. And Ferland was able to not only make up some time to get back to the bumper of the Ford, but get through pit road a little bit quicker as Bliss goes to pit road. That's going to hand the lead over to 23 of Brodie Hannah.
It is, and Claude Ferland, part of that AccentLED.com team. And nice to see him back up here. We've seen him when he first come in this league. The first few races, it was starting to look like, Brad, he might just walk away with this thing. He was winning races and dominating, but the competition here at Full Throttle Sim Racing quickly adjusting to the speed of Ferland, and he quickly learned this is a talent-laden field.
Absolutely, it's a matter of consistency, and that's exactly what he had early on in the season. Went through a little bit of a rough patch, towards the mid-season, if you will. Kind of got some incidents and kind of had some rough points tonight. But he's starting to get back on the form right now. And those guys over there at XLED got to be proud.
We had a couple of
Person coming back up to Richie Coy now.
Yeah, Person coming up to Coy, Nearad on Person. And, Nearad and Person did battle the other night in a different series. And I wonder, they are teammates, but I wonder if any of that has rubbed off and will spill over to tonight's race.
How often were you a teammate once you put the helmet on?
Well, that's kind of where we're at. We're in playoff mode, and teammates are nice and everything, but hey, I got to go forward. So there's the teammate thing doesn't really last, and it can actually have a little batter blood or leave a little worse taste in your mouth racing a teammate sometimes because you're so used to the courteousness during the regular season, Brad. Playoff time, just a different animal.
Yeah, sometimes you go to guys that where before it wouldn't have been a big deal. Now all of a sudden they're not really requesting courtesy. They're well, I should say they are. They're requesting it rather than just hoping for it. And I agree. When you're racing a teammate, something like that, and they're in the hunt for the championship, and you're kind of out. It's a very sticky situation.
Right now, we look in on Brian Helm. Wow, down the track with a big block, the 26. Not sure that was necessary, Brad, on lap 55, but throws a mammoth block on the 13 to Chris Stouffer.
Yeah, he is fighting for everything he is worth right now to try to make it back up, and that's one of those questionable things where, I'm not gonna, tell him what he's doing right or doing wrong, but that's just another one of those risk versus reward things. You've already had one slip up in this race, and you're trying to fight to get everything you do, but do you really want to be throwing huge blocks on trucks where they might just say, okay, next corner, we'll make that up?
I mean, the thought had crossed my mind. I mean, if I'm Stouffer and and there's a second block thrown, I don't think I lift at all.
Right behind them, we got 42 McDaniels. He's making his way back through.
Zach McDaniel coming through underneath Jason Spear. Now, the McDaniel back in 10th, and he's a decent run for the 42, but here's another guy who came into this series and was dominating, and basically the same fate as Ferland. I mean, they're both excellent racers and having good finishes, but they quickly found the talent pool here is deep, and he's here in the top 10 having a decent night.
Yeah, most of these guys, they have some bad luck here and there. Most of them, McDaniel's playoff driver, unfortunately didn't make it out of the first round and whatnot. Again, some incidents, getting caught up in some different wrecks right now. But everybody here, they're good drivers. And man, this battle between the 26 and the 13, Stouffer is all over the back of them.
I don't blame him. He's in there. I think he's a little hot under the collar, and he might cool down in a couple laps here, but he's not going to cut any slack after that. So the 13 and the 26 getting a little breathing room here as the 42 starts to close in on him. Let's look up front. You can see the gap there. Brodie Hannah opening up a nice big lead here over teammate Richie Coy, about 2 seconds back. Then it's Bernard Persson, Dale Nearad, Torgerson. There's Bobby Terrell with Claude Ferland still latched onto him. I mean, these two going to ride the whole race together by the looks of it. And then it's back to Helm and Stouffer. Here comes Stouffer. Let's get in on this one more time. Maybe we'll hop on board with Zach McDaniel and see what's going on here. They are really close here, Brad. You can see out of McDaniel's car just how close they are.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to be McDaniel right now. I think I just got to back off just a little bit and be like, all right, I'll wait for y'all to wreck each other. Because he looks like he's going to try to go to the inside of Stouffer right here. And that's just one of those situations where, Stouffer and Helm have been working so hard, just racing each other. I wouldn't be surprised to see the 42 able to actually just come up and roll up on him and probably just be able to get by him just with the amount of less tire that he's had to use, as much as these two have been battling each other.
Wow, three-way battle here. Here comes McDaniel on the low side. Can he make it stick? Looks like he might be the fastest of the three at this point in the race. The 42 starting to make his moves.
Be interesting to see if when he gets to the back of that 26, if he tries that same move, whether or not the 26 is going to cut down across his nose and give him a big block, because I don't think that'll work then.
Giving him a rough time, I think deservedly so about that block. That was a very aggressive block, but he's doing all he can do for his playoffs too. But if I don't know, it would be interesting to see if another run comes and if he throws another one.
McDaniel's able to get around Stouffer there. That's going to move McDaniel's into that 9th position. He's going to set his sights now onto the 26, a little bit further up the road here. We're going to check back in on the 19 and Richie Coy, Bernard Persson, and looks like they've been able to separate themselves a little bit from Dale Nearad. Persson still trying to close in on the back of Coy.
Yeah, they just got nothing for Hannah here tonight. Something behind them. Someone down the track
Torgerson.
there.
I think Torgerson got a little loose right there. Bobby Terrell opened up the door for the top side for Terrell.
So Bobby going to move up into the top 5. Shocking update. The 4 moving forward. Up 7 spots into 5th place.
Kind of look at the race within the race, if you will, coming into this. First place, obviously, Brodie Hannah is already locked in. Bobby Terrell, he's pretty much got enough points currently where he's standing. The big battle is between Coy, Ferland, and Helm, really. Coy and Ferland came in separated only by 1 point right now. Richie Coy is 4 positions better than Ferland, so he'd actually be able to extend his lead, keeping himself in the top 4 currently on the track.
Very nice to have those updates. Coy definitely doing a great job on everything he needs to do in this championship. I mean, it is so tough when you're a playoff fighter, Brad, and you look at the board and you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, top 7 guys all in the chase. How do you make up points?
Oh, it's even worse. I mean, let's face it, our top 4 are in the top 5. I mean, how do you make up points with that?
It is so hard. These guys have really risen to the top, and they're proving it. They're holding on tonight. Nobody making mistakes. I mean, we talk a lot about mistakes, especially when they about pit road mistakes. These guys are all championship caliber. They're not making any mistakes out here, Brad. I mean, we've seen one mistake. That was out of Helm getting loose, and he's in 9th. I mean, you know, he picks up 1 more position, and you're going to have the top 8 in the top 8.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's in 9th, getting passed by the 42 McDaniels now. He's going to be back to the 26 of Helm and Stouffer once again here. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, how do you make up 4 or 5 points on somebody like a Bobby Terrell who's running in 4th? How do you make up points on Bernard Person running in 3rd? I mean, these guys, they've been running this entire season. It's a long season. You know, there's not really nerves. There's no rust. These guys, week in, week out, practicing, running different series. You know, they know their marks. They know what they got to do. You know, mistakes are going to be extremely low versus, you know, somebody walking in off the road and just missing the setup. That doesn't even happen this late in the game.
No, it doesn't. You know, and as we look at this race, and if it shakes out the way it is, how important is Martinsville going to be? I mean, and of all places, Martinsville going to close out this round, a short track, Brad. That could open up some doors.
Yeah, that's the difference maker right there. You know, we had them in every round. You know, we had Dega, obviously. We had some questionable races like that as far as whose wheelhouse is it really going to be in. Martinsville's going to be the one for here. Martinsville's the one where you can find catastrophe within, you know, people getting knocked out of the race and things like that.
Yeah, it's going to be highly entertaining, highly interesting. Of course, we'll have all that coverage right here on Full Throttle TV. Come and check that out next week, 9 p.m. Up front, let's give him his due. The 23, been on quite a roll lately. 3-time champion, looking to make it 4. Already locked in for Phoenix. Out here putting on a fairly dominating performance tonight.
Oh yeah, you know, just up front. Drive, nothing to worry about. Cool drink in the cup holder.
Get the feet kicked up. Reading a book, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, he's making it look easy, isn't it? I mean, we're talking about all season long how these guys have just been fighting tooth and nail, and you know, come playoff time, you know, he hates the word, he hates the name, but you know, we can call him a showman because that's what he's been during these playoffs.
Torgerson. McDaniel makes a move on the outside or vice versa, I'm not sure, but Torgerson loose on the bottom, and we've been seeing that from the 98. He's a little bit loose here tonight, and he's going to relinquish that spot to Zach McDaniel, who continues to march forward. He's looking better and better.
And continuing to work his way to the front. And again, I think that's a situation. I think he actually pitted a little bit later than the guys in front of him, and that's really what put him a little bit further back in the field because he was running in our top 10 before those pit stops. Came back out somewhere in the 13th area, 13th, 14th. I don't know if he stayed out just a little bit later or not. I'll have to verify that to make sure, but that could be exactly what we're seeing there.
Well, we're looking on the pit board now. Pitted on lap 47. I mean, Ferland 45, Terrell 46. So a couple laps. Hannah was a little late at 47, as was Stouffer. But they're all in that range, 45 to 47. So, you know, it helps. Even a couple laps helps.
Yeah, and it doesn't help if you're sitting there and you're fighting tooth and nail for every spot like we were seeing earlier, some of the battles.
Torgerson is hemorrhaging time, so we have our first person faltering here is Troy Torgerson, and he's down there, you know, showing out at this point, Brad. He cannot afford to hemorrhage too many more spots here.
No, but I mean, once you get to a certain aspect, you know, we talked about it, you know, the top five being, the top four being in the top five. I mean, really, you got to go into this race, and you got to go into Martinsville with the attitude it's win or you're out, because, you know, we've seen it. You just can't make up the amount of points. I mean, Torgerson's currently 21 points back. To get to Coy, he's got to make up at least 5 spots. Coy's running in second.
Not sure who's down the track there. I think that's Tony Solari. Yes, it is. Tony Solari coming on to pit lane. Lane Allen on pit lane. So lap 77 of 134 here. We've got a couple of people coming in. Not contenders, so I don't think these are really scheduled stops at this point.
Well, look now, Bobby Terrell made his way past the 03 at the end there and moved the Ford truck into fourth.
Bobby, always coming, always moving forward. The 4, so difficult. Many wins this season, and he'd love to get a truck championship. I know he has his heart set on it. I mean, this is a man who's dominated an Xfinity series for a few years running, and he really wanted to focus on this truck series this year, and you can tell by the effort he's put in, by the results he's been getting, Brad.
Oh, absolutely. Bobby's got 5 wins on the season, 19 top 5s, 25 top 25 top 10s. So just the level of consistency in that organization and in that truck has just been outstanding. 42, Zach McDaniel moved himself into the 6th position, going by the top side of that 44 Claude Ferland. So McDaniel still continuing to move forward.
Daniel been very, very impressive. Let's get a little replay in on that. Well, let's wait here and see if Ferland makes a move. Now he's going to settle in behind for now. Let's get a quick replay and see that pass on Claude Ferland. You see here down in, it looks like 1 and 2. Ooh, and a little loose down on the low side for Ferland. Allows a big run to the high side for the 42. Around he goes, and then he gets him in 3 and 4 with a, you know, he sticks up there really well. Drives through the corner solid. Going to take that position.
Yeah, one thing that's really good to see is you're seeing McDaniel just really, he's not really putting the truck in any dangerous situation. You know, the back end's not sliding out. It doesn't look like he's being very aggressive with the truck, if you will. It kind of seems like he's taking what he can get out of it. And then right now, I mean, it's working for him.
It's working, and it's good to see. I mean, Zach used to be the mile-and-a-half guy. He'd get out and dominate. And I'm going to say he's been struggling lately. We're talking about top 10s is his idea of struggling. But now he just looks like he's starting to slowly find it again, Brad. And if a guy like him gets on a roll, watch out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's going to be doing wonderful things. You know, we saw early on in his career here, you know, just set the world on fire. I mean, we talked about that about all these rookies coming into this league. You know, we had Ferland, you know, came in and just, you know,
and he's loose. A little bit of loose of it too, as we were talking about it. Ferland going to make a move.
Yeah, Ferland at the inside can use that momentum, try to make a stick. But we've seen that 42 work that top side and be extremely comfortable out there. He's going to continue to roll the top. It's going to be a drag race down this front stretch.
Man, we got a battle here on our hands. Helm coming up here to join this battle now. We know how it is. You get side by side, and you're going to hemorrhage time. Guy's going to get right in there. Helm was already coming, I think.
Yeah, it's just so difficult at 44 Ferland to stay on that bottom and not over-rotate that truck. We've seen it all night. You know, these guys get a little bit of wear on their tires, and they just can't make it stick. It seems like a lot more in 1 and 2 than 3 and 4. It looks like 3 and 4 they get slowed down a little bit more, and they're able to make it.
Ferland battling for his playoff life, and he is in here hunting for yet another point, or to keep this point, and it looks like he's going to get it here as McDaniel later on in this run, the truck, he might have given all he can give at this point. So look up front. Hannah way out front. Coy actually reeling him in, Brad. Let's go in and see our last lap times here. It's Coy 31:43, Hannah 31:54.
Yeah, I've been watching the lap times between the two of them, and it seems like Coy can get 2 or 3 laps a little bit better than Hannah, and then Hannah comes back around and does a couple and kind of, evens it back out. They've been hovering right there around that 1.8, 1.9 for probably the last 6 or 7 laps.
Yeah, and as you say that, Hannah lays down a 31:39 to Coy's 40, Person 46, Terrell 39. I mean, again, top 4 in the top 4 spots. How do you make up points on these guys?
Yeah, absolutely. And the top 2, can you tell they're from the same stable? Probably the same setup underneath them. They're running almost identical lap times, as we're starting to see a couple of guys come down pit road. Looks like we're going to have Brian Bliss coming down pit road. So only a few more laps away, I think, before we start to get our second round of pit stops.
Yeah, we're in that neighborhood now. Lap 87 of 134. That puts us on 47 to go if my Canadian math is up to par. And so that's, we're in the window here. Anybody wants to take a shot, and I think someone should. I just don't know who that someone might be.
I think it needs to be the 23 of Brodie Hannah. He's got nothing to lose. Come down a little bit earlier. We've seen that he's got the dominant car, both on the long run and on the short run. So, what better way than to make sure that your competitors can't get ahead on you is come down early and turn the tables on them, forcing them to come to pit road.
Yeah, I mean, I like that call too, but I can guarantee you, Brodie, the type of guy who will wait and go one later than his competitors. It's kind of what he does. But I would prefer that he came in and undercut them all and took that opportunity away from a guy like Bernard Person, who just came in. So Person here trying the undercut. Can he have a decent stop? Ferland's in, Helm's in, Torgerson is in.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be long. I don't think he's going to wait nearly as long as he did last time. As it looks like, nope, Brodie Hannah on his way to pit road this time by. He's going to relinquish the lead to the 19 of Richie Coy. Coy coming in as well.
Hannah and Coy both in, so they didn't wait long. They seen one competitor come in, and they went in. Bobby going to stay out on the track. Him and Dale Nearrad going to play the long haul game here, and I like it. I mean, I only like it because I like to do something different. You're going to win this thing. You definitely can't just follow the leader, or, you'll follow the leader.
Yeah, the problem is that Ford can't afford to have a bad race. He's going to have to come this time by. He can't afford to drop in the points, to play that undercut or that strategy game. You've got to be really willing to risk everything, and you just can't give up that points. We talked about it, the top 4 and the top 5. It's so hard to make up 2-3 points, so you can't just, drop a good 4 spots to play the strategy right now, unfortunately.
No, that's a good point, and that's probably why he did come in right away. See Spear coming off pit road, Flanagan coming off, Schultz is in.
Now Rupert's still out on the track. He's got nothing to lose. He can try to run this tank dry, but I think it sounds like he's going to actually be coming this time by. TJ Bartell is still out on the racetrack though, and I don't think you're going to see him to pit road anytime soon.
Yeah, why would you? I mean, stay out here, and maybe you catch a caution. And, you're going to have some guys lap down, and you're going to be able to come in, get fresh rubber, be the leader. I mean, what more could you ask for? But, you need a caution really quick because Hannah, only 9 seconds back, he's probably picking up a second or 2 every lap.
Yeah, it looks like Bobby Terrell's going to come out right in front of the 03 and Nearrad, the 42 McDaniels. Stouffer's going to be right there with him as well. So it looks like Bobby Terrell's going to come out in 6th position. Still Rupert yet to pit, Bartell yet to pit. So still going to be in the top 4. Bernard Person looks like he lost a little bit of time. Not much. He might have actually made up just ever so slightly to Richie Coy. Still about 1.3 seconds back.
Well, Bobby lost a spot, I believe, in this sequence. So interesting because he's 5 seconds back from Person, 5.5 seconds back. So he's got work to do if he wants to get back up and in this thing. Right now, though, TJ Bartell coming in, relinquishing the lead. So he let his lap, got his point. He's on pit road. Brodie Hannah coming through, back on the point. He's opened up a gap to Coy of 3 seconds. Again, having a better pit stop, the 23. So good on and off of pit road.
Yeah, he put about another second on Richie Coy through that pit stop sequence. Then he got about a little bit over a second and a half to get back to TJ Bartell. Bernard Persons in second. Fourth will still be TJ, but we know he's coming to pit road. So then you got Bobby right there. Bobby's going to be under a little bit of distress there because we do have three cars right there. Actually, call it 4 right there within the same stretch of the track.
Yeah, Bobby in 4th, Dale Nearrad 5th, Zach McDaniel all over the back of him in 6th. Ferland now in 7th position. He's got Helm, who's worked his way back up to 8th, and Stouffer in 9th. And he is still close to Helm, so we'll see if that spills over. Joe Flanagan back in 10th, away about 4 or 5 seconds back from 9th place. And Torgerson, right now, really the one losing the most points. He's really got to hold what he's got and hope for the best at Martinsville at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to get himself into a situation where I think it's almost must win.
Well, Martinsville, a lot can happen. The problem is that there's just too many good guys. You're not going to have a lot happen to 4 different people. So he might be a must-win situation for the 98. As he's got the Jason Spear in the 83 all over him right now. Spear looking pretty racy tonight.
Yeah, absolutely right in front of him. Somebody we haven't really talked about all night. That's going to be the 53 of Joe Flanagan. Joe's had a couple of really strong races, strong qualifying over the last few weeks. Unfortunately, throughout the race, the handling kind of goes away on that truck. Hasn't been able to get the finishes he's been wanting, but still putting in some extremely strong runs as he's currently in the 10th position now.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Pepto Joe to kind of put it all together. We've watched him start deeper in the field. And over the course of a race, long run, he comes forward, ends up in the top 10. Then we see him start grabbing poles and being second, but fade from the lead to a top 10. So if you can kind of mesh those two together, you're going to have a winner out here. And I really think you're going to see it. It's just a matter of time for the 53.
Starting to trade lap times again up front. Not really putting any big gaps in anything last time by. Brodie Hannah with the 30, with Richie Coy with the 30-31. So these guys continue to just kind of trade laps, lap after lap, not really anything. Both of them have a lot of clean racetrack in front of them. Right now, I think, really all race long so far, it's been Brodie Hannah's race to lose. And it's a matter of whether or not Richie Coy is going to be able to find something late in this run, maybe get a caution or something to really have a chance to get caught back up to Brodie Hannah and see if he can do anything with him.
Yeah, fastest on the track right now, Bobby Terrell and Bernard Person right there with them. So those two are coming, but I mean, they've got a ways to go. Person a second and a half behind Coy, and Terrell is about 4.5 seconds off of Bernie, as I struggle to find out who's who. But yeah, Bobby's coming, but I mean, it's just too little, too late, I think, and that's the problem with trying to play. Going in late for your pit stop here at Texas, the fractions of seconds we're talking about just aren't enough.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're talking about also battling the fastest cars in the track that they've been fastest all night, so you can't afford to give up a car length, let alone tenths of halves of seconds on pit road, or just having them come and undercut you by 2 laps. It's just going to be insurmountable, because at the end of it, with the amount of fall off, it's just not the same amount that they're going to be able to gain on you from doing that short pit.
That time by Brodie Hannah, fastest on the track, along with Jason Spear. So Spear in the 83 is definitely hooked up here tonight. He's only up 2 spots on the night, 12th spot, but it's a solid night for him. And if he can keep up this speed, he's going to pick up a few more and be a nice top 10 for him. And I want to touch on the guy behind him, the 3 car, Adam Newton, out here. He is having a solid run, up 8 spots on the evening. And he's been really good. And he's been coming on lately, Brad, starting to prove himself in this series.
Yeah, another one of those drivers that typically runs extremely well, but then all of a sudden gets caught up in the situation. We saw last week the right side of that truck get pancaked, got in a little bit of an incident, was running really well up until that situation. It seems like if he can just keep it clean and just kind of stay out of the trouble, he's going to be in store for top 5s, top 10s.
He is. I continue with some of these guys back here. Kevin Rupert in the 1, part of Gladiators of Racing, and he's looking really solid. Up 8 spots into 14th place, having himself a really nice run. He's got his teammate behind him in 15th. And then it's Brian Bliss. What about Biggie out here? Up 9 spots on the evening, having himself. He led a couple of laps too, Brad. Biggie starting to show himself a bit.
Yeah, just kind of getting back into things right now. Little 18 Brian Bliss. Behind him, you're going to have the 40 of TJ Bartel. Both of those drivers leading laps tonight. Playing a little bit of a different strategy, trying to make something happen. You got to applaud them for it. They're not in this for the championship. They don't need the points. They're trying to do what they can to solidify themselves a win. And you know what? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But at least they're in shot, and they've got some laps left tonight.
And here's another problem when you put yourself back in the field like Bobby Terrell has done. Now you got a guy who waited a little longer to pit in the 40. He's all over the back of you, and he's harassing you. So not only do you have to drive through traffic in front of you, you got a couple of guys who are driving through you, really hampering your lap times, and it just frustrates you to all get up. I mean, nobody's doing anything wrong. I just mean you put yourself in this position, right? If you short pit, you're out front, you deal with a little less of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys starting to just kind of all the gaps are pretty much stable, if you will. There's not a whole lot of close battling. I think the closest battle we're going to have is that 44 of Ferland and the 26 of Helm. That's going to be the 7th position. Everyone else, it seems like they're just kind of trading lap times, 1 or 2 seconds behind each other. But our person, he's kind of fallen off, no longer making up time on Richie Coy. Richie Coy is still sitting right there, hovering in that 2.9 to 3 second range. So this is a situation, I think, where if anybody's going to have a shot at Brodie, I think really, I'd say it, the old curse, but I think they're looking for a caution.
This is quite the little battle here. Helm stalking Claude Ferland. A couple of guys both, could be battling for a playoff position. This point could be very big for both of them, Brad.
Yeah, it really could. Both of them have been through a little bit of adversity here in this race. Obviously, Helm early on with the spin. Ferland started a little bit, pretty much right here where he's at on the starting grid, but fell back early. Fell back, I believe, as far back as 13th, 14th position before he battled his way back. Just kind of latched onto the back of Bobby Terrell, if you will, made his way through the field all the way up into the top 5 before the pit stops.
Yeah, he's had a really solid night. Ferland's very stable. The 44 doing an excellent job. I'd like to see him get in the final, but I'd like to see them all get in, Brad. Can't we let them all in?
Yeah, we'll make it an 8 playoff. Win it all. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Like a super speedway or something too. Throw it all out the window.
I like it. We'll call it the Brad series.
Ouch.
I'm loving it. Here comes Helm underneath Ferland. Going to make a move down into 1. Looks like Ferland is just going to let that spot go. I like the call. He's going to try a little bit of an undercut here out of the corner. No, it's not going to work, but I like it from Ferland. It may be an important point, but there's 23 laps left. Do you really want to do battle where you could throw your whole night away?
Well, I like it too because, nothing against Ferland, but some of his best running tonight has been latched onto the back of a truck in front of him. And, it could be a situation where, Ferland's like, I can't get any faster. I'm not doing any better. When I was behind, the Ford truck, I was able to see his line. I was able to mimic it. I was able to run faster laps. Maybe he's doing the same thing right here with the 26. Hey, let them go by. Don't burn up your stuff. See if you can learn something. Maybe get a little bit faster. And there's still plenty of time to just pull them back and try to get by them.
Yeah, I mean, not just mimicking laps, but you get behind a guy, often it'll tighten your truck up a little bit. So if you're fighting a loose condition out in fresh air, you might like it behind. But right now, it's looking more and more like Brian Helm, just a little bit faster here on this run. So 26, what a battle back, Brad. Gets loose early on, falls to close to 20th place. I think you're actually 23rd or something like that. And has battled back here into 7th place. I mean, this is the stuff you need to do if you want to battle for a championship.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just continuing to just wear it in and, just dog it. I mean, the grind is half the fight, if you will. And you got to really love the grind if you're going to be a champion. If they say, it's not all the, getting the trophy and winning the race is just a part of it. And that's the end, really. The real battle was, all the practice and, setting up the car and everything like that. Now, I'll tell you what, I'm watching that gap up front, and Richie Coy's really starting to eat in on Brodie Hannah.
Well, let's bring up those lap times again, and Coy with a 31.18, Hannah fast at a 31.23. Those two, the fastest on the track right now. So once again, on the long run, it's Coy and Hannah. They've really got it worked out down there at the setup shop, and they're pulling away. But Coy, you're right. Just status quo that lap, but he's pulled probably a second on Hannah over the last 15 laps or so.
Trying to look back and see if it's a situation where, maybe you had a little bit of a slip, if you will, from Brodie Hannah, but it looks pretty consistent. 31.2, 31.2s, 31 O's. He went from O's to 2s all of a sudden, but, nothing major as far as any type of a slip. It looks like that Richie Coy's still staying right there with the 31 1s and the 31 O's.
He is, but Hannah's starting to assert himself. He may be listening to us. I don't know, Brad. But he has put it down there, laying a really fast time that time, starting to open that gap up just a little bit again. We check in on 3rd place, Bernard Person. Bernie, another 3-time champ here. Very tough to beat. He's been here a lot this season in this 2nd, 3rd, 4th position. And consistency's great, but it's time now to start winning. I mean, he's looking more and more like he'll get in the final, but you can't come 3rd or 4th in the final. No,
absolutely not. I mean, you got to sit there, and that's the real thing that I'm wondering here is how much is, biding your time and being patient, just putting yourself in a good situation to make sure you have a good points night, versus really going for it and trying to get the win every time. I think everybody's gonna, if they have the opportunity to get a win, they're gonna fight for the win. But at the same time, I think you're getting a little bit right now where some of the guys are a little more content and they're not willing to risk it yet, knowing that they can't really afford to do it because of the points being so tight.
Look back now at 4th place, Bobby Terrell making his way back up to where he was when pit stop started. Now he does have fresher tires. He's 3 seconds behind Bernard Person, 15 laps. Is there any chance Bobby Terrell can run him down?
I don't know. That's going to be close. I mean, right now Bernie's running 31.5s and Bobby's running 31.2s. We've got about 14 laps, so it's possible. Right now, though, I mean, the battle up front, I don't think it's over yet. I mean, you're starting to get to a situation where Brodie's laying down time, but he's going to be consistently slower. It seems like he'll lose 2/10 that last time. Actually, Richie lost a little bit, as he's starting to finally come in to see Brodie. But we're going to see a couple of lap cars in the mix as we're making our way through them now.
All right, we'll check on that momentarily as we look in on 5th place, Dale Nerad. And let's talk a little bit about this kid, part of Bandit Racing, young kid in the 03, driving like an old vet out here, and he's been solid this season. And again, it's lingering around here in the top 5, soon to be a dominant driver on the surface, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one of those drivers throughout the season. He's run very well. He kind of gets caught up in somebody else's, not necessarily somebody else's mess, but gets caught up in incidents and whatnot, doesn't get the finish he wants. And I think you're exactly right. Dominant driver. I think he's going to be one of the better drivers in the series. He's just kind of really get his feet under him. And that's some of it. Sometimes you have to learn what a caution-free race takes. I mean, if you make that small mistake and, you're used to running officials or something like that where you can generally say, oh, we're going to caution, we'll make it back up. You get 4 seconds behind, you'll make it back up on the caution. You don't get that here. You can't give up that 4 seconds or you'll never get it back.
Yeah, that's a great point. We're looking on Zach McDaniel. He is currently in 6th. Good run out of McDaniel. We were talking about him early on. Nice, solid effort. Helm up to 7th, and he continued. He pulled away from Ferland. He's opened up a couple of seconds on him. He's actually closing on McDaniel. So Helm, what a recovery for him. And it's Ferland. And of course, let's talk about Jason Spear. Now in 9th place. This man having himself a really nice evening out here.
Yeah, I don't know what adjustment he made on that last pit stop, but it really agreed with that truck. It just fired off. You were talking about it. He was one of the fastest trucks on the track, continuing to make up positions. Currently 9th, up 5 spots on the night. I don't think he's going to have enough time to get to Ferland right there in the 44, but hats off to Jason Spear. I mean, top 10 tonight, having a good run. That truck looks clean, not a single scratch on it.
Yeah, it's really nice to see. I mean, he's been involved in a lot of incidents and mostly not of his doing, and it's been very frustrating for him. So he could really use this run here tonight. It's really nice to see. You got Joe Flanagan back here in 10th place. Talking about Joe earlier, and he's getting closer and closer to putting it all together out here. Torgerson struggling. He's going to need something big at Martinsville. You got Stouffer, a newcomer to the series. He's been looking better and better all the time. Not his best night back here in 12th, but still a very solid evening. And you got Newton, who we were talking about, the 3-car, a really nice run. He's up 8 spots on the night. Rupert's up 8 spots on the night. He's doing great as well. Schultz in 15th. Then it's Bartel with that late pit stop, back in 16th. Brian Bliss leading the lap there earlier on. He's in 17th. And Vrooman, Stephen Vrooman in 00. That's going to cycle through our lead lap cars. And actually, Hannah just put him a lap down, I believe.
Yeah, Hannah actually closing up on the back of the 91 of Kevin Schultz right now. He's going to be the next car Brodie Hannah's going to come up to as the 19 of Richie Coy makes his way past the 00 of Ruman.
So Coy, 2.4 seconds as Hannah continues to have that gap or even extend it ever slightly over the last few laps, as Coy had to deal with some lap traffic of his own. Looking more and more like another Hannah victory here. Person all alone. Terrell's all alone. So, really, we look back at McDaniel and Helm. Maybe Helm can close up on McDaniel, and that's the main battle we got going on here.
Yeah, really. It seems like the gaps, again, they've kind of stationary around the entire track. Everybody's separated by just a little bit. We'll kind of turn our attention right now. Look at that points battle within the points battle currently. Going into this, Richie Coy was 16 points out. Ferland was 17 points out. Helm 18. Obviously, Richie Coy in the best position there of the bunch. He's going to extend his lead both over Helm and Ferland. Ferland and Helm. Looks like Helm's going to gain a little bit of ground on Ferland. Currently, the way they race right now, they're going to be separated by 1 point. But if this stays true, Richie Coy is going to pull out probably about a 5-point advantage over Ferland and a 6-point advantage over Helm. So he will stretch that lead just ever so slightly. Definitely not enough to be comfortable going into a race like Martinsville.
Definitely not. Nothing's comfortable at Martinsville. Torgerson, as he's seen on our board there, he's almost in a must-win situation come Martinsville. This race not over. 4 laps to go. Anything could happen. Sometimes it does. Hannah comes to the line. He takes the 3 to go, so Brodie Hannah 3 to go here for victory at Texas, a place he knows very well. I think he's pulled a couple of victories out here before.
Yeah, absolutely. I think right now you're starting to see Richie Coy. It did kind of made that last gas, that run to it, if you will, starting to hemorrhage a little bit more time. Was actually a little quicker on that last lap than Brodie Hannah, but a couple of laps prior gave up a couple of tenths. A little bit over 2.5 second lead for Brodie Hannah. McDaniels and Helm continuing to battle. Helm trying to get there. He's going to have to get around the 18 of Bliss. He's going to have a shot at the 42.
Yeah, I don't think he's got enough time to get by Bliss and to get to McDaniel. And Bliss getting out of the way, going way up the track, but so was Helm. I'm not even sure Biggie's getting out of the way. He rolled that high side pretty good. Brodie Hannah taking the white flag, the 23, part of Fury Motorsports, down through 1 and 2, about to take home his second victory here in the round of 8.
You know, they got to be feeling great in that entire stable. Looks like we're going to have another 1-2 finish for Fury Motorsports.
Yeah, they're going to be thrilled. Fury Motorsports up there cheering down on pit road. Brodie Hannah across the line, winner here in the Texas 200. Richie Coy second. Bernard Persson going to go home third and solidify his playoff hopes. Bobby Terrell fourth, same for him. Nearad will be fifth. McDaniel is going to hold off Helm, that's sixth and seventh. Ferland going to come home eighth. Jason Spears, solid night in ninth. Flanagan 10th. And Troy Torgerson 11th position. Stouffer, Rupert, Schultz, and Newton, your lead lap cars.
Well, what can we say? Another race in these championship, you know, and another win for Brodie Hannah. I mean, what are these guys going to have to do to be able to overcome what the 23's really been able to do this last couple of weeks?
I think you got to get down there and bribe them a bit for some knowledge on what's been going on, because they've been rockets as of lately, and it's just been fantastic to see Brodie back up here winning races. And you know, he has peaked at the right time, and he's bringing Coy with him. I mean, Coy, this is how many times has he been second to Hannah by just a fraction? So if Coy can get up here and maybe steal a pole or do a little better early on, he could be stealing these victories. Could be a Fury battle come down in Phoenix.
And that kind of makes a difference, you know. Once you get to a race like that, a championship, how much team dynamics is there, you know, setup, shop building, and everything else?
Brodie with another beautiful straight line burnout. He seems to have perfected that one. And we're going to talk to Brodie Hannah along with Coy and Persson. But first, let's take a short commercial break, and we'll get those interviews as soon as we get back. Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway, where the 23 is pulling off the track, taking that truck down into victory lane. Man, oh man, isn't that a pretty sight driving that little circle there?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he was a dominant car all night tonight. I mean, what can you really say? I mean, he is just continuing to put on a show.
He absolutely is. Right now, though, let's get a word with our third place finisher. That's going to be the 8, Bernard Person, with a solid run. Congrats on third place tonight, Bernie.
Thank you, Dean.
So another evening out here with the Fury Boys out here putting on a show. You guys were right there, Bernie. You were there for a while. Talk a little bit about the long run and what was happening out there on the track.
Well, in the beginning of the run, you're just trying to make positions to get up there and stay there. And, I noticed in 1 coming out of 2, I was getting a little loose. But the longer we ran, the better it got. I know we worked on that late last night. But yeah, we had nothing for Brodie. They're in another zip code, and congratulations to him for winning.
Yeah, they were, but you got to be happy, not only with yourself. You had some teammates have a nice run tonight. Nearrad's up there, Helm's up there, Jason Spear, really nice run tonight. So they're not the only team out there, and you guys are making headway. How are you thinking? I mean, we're heading into Martinsville. I know you're pretty good there. You got to be happy about that. And of course, you're looking more and more like you could be in Phoenix. We don't want to jump too far ahead. You got to get through Martinsville first, but the team itself coming along, and you got to like your chances too, Bernie.
Yeah, as a team overall, we're pretty solid. We all work great together. Martinsville, I love Martinsville, but sometimes something can happen. I'm not going to go in there thinking that, hey, that's a solid win right there. Just going to take what's there. Don't push it, don't overdrive it, don't race the guys in front of you. Just race what I can get. And I hate to see what happened to Brian when he got loose. Happy to see he got back up there in 7th. That's what makes a championship as well. Trying to overcome what you did wrong. And hopefully the 2 of us are in there at Phoenix.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian, we covered that a lot. We were talking about it. That is what champions do. Battled back from some serious adversity. I think he dropped to 23rd, Bernie. Battled back for 7th. Excellent run by him. But we're in here talking about you, Bernie. What a nice run for you. And, you talk a little bit about, you were talking a little bit about how, you take what the truck can get and all that. Well, when we get into Phoenix, it's winner take all. And how you feel about Phoenix? I know you're not there yet, but what do you think about that track?
Well, Phoenix and I don't really get along. It's like turn 1. I haven't really got turn 1 down packed. It's sort of like Iowa for me. I lose a lot of time there. I do make it up, 3 and 4, but it's always 1 and 2. So when we do go there, it's going to be a lot of time, a lot of work, just trying to get myself that line to where I won't lose as much time to the competitors out there that I'm fighting for championship with.
Well, one more thing I wanted to touch on is you brought the word competitors. These competitors, I mean, you look at the top 10, they're all playoff drivers. Virtually. I think Torgerson with the worst finish tonight, 11th place. How do you make up ground? You don't have to make up ground, but, how do you hold your ground or move up in the standings when everybody's finishing, 1 through 8?
I know like I've always said, the cream rises to the top. Brodie obviously and Richie worked really hard in their set. We just either got to work a little harder, and finish a little better in front of them.
Well, we think you guys are fantastic. We think you're fantastic, Bernie. Congrats on third place, man. You got any shout outs you want to give? Now's the time, man.
Yeah, I obviously want to thank you guys for putting on an awesome broadcasting. It's always fun going back and watching that. Brodie for putting on a fantastic league. and all my teammates. We work really hard to make these setups, and congrats to Brian for getting up to 7th.
All right, Brad. That was the third place finisher, the number 8, Bernard Person.
All right, thanks, Dean. He had a great run, but right now I'm standing by with the number 19. That's going to be Richie Coy, but I got to sit here and say we might have to change it to the number 2. I mean, back-to-back second place finishes to the boss, if you will. I mean, what are you going to have to do to overcome?
I guess I'm going to have to wreck him. I mean, it's coming down to him and me the last couple of races, and he's just been a little bit better than I have. But we're both coming with good pieces, and, second, and hopefully do another good run next week, and we'll be into the championship round.
Yeah, I mean, talk about it, the confidence that must be going on in that team. You guys are really showing that you guys are putting in your homework. You're getting some good setups. You're getting solid build, probably a lot of good communication between the two of you. We saw this really a couple weeks back. Once Brodie was able to make his way into the playoffs, solidify himself, then it seemed like the team really put their focus on getting you in. We're seeing that again. Going into this one, you're right there on that cusp. You were able to get yourself in that top 4 with a little bit of breathing room, but kind of, how much confidence is there between the team doing everything with knowing Martinsville's next week?
Well, honestly, each week we are doing our homework, and I think we're bringing the good stuff to the table here. And as far as confidence goes, how much confidence can you have with this group of guys? I mean, these guys are fantastic that we race with each week. So we got to be on our game every week, and we're just really coming. Honestly, in Martinsville, I can't wait.
I think you're probably the first person that said that they can't wait, with the exception of probably your teammate, because he knows he doesn't have really anything to lose in that situation. But, I'm looking forward to it. I think we got a lot of guys here, and you said it yourself, the amount of competition within this league. I mean, at any given time, the top 4 were in the top 5. There's no way to really make up points. You're going to have a couple of situations where some guys are going to be desperate to win next week, and it's going to be fantastic. And we can't wait to see what you can do. Talk us through it. I mean, what do you think? Obviously it sounds like that you're more than happy to go to Martinsville. Look a little bit further. You solidify yourself next week. How are you at Phoenix?
Phoenix, first of all, Martinsville is my favorite track that we go to. I love that racetrack. And in Martinsville, Phoenix is probably my second favorite track. So it's definitely a good end of the season. So far, I think we had 2 races so far in the 3 series at Martinsville, and I got to win both of them. So I'm looking to hopefully get wins 3, 4, and 5 this coming week. So I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Sounds good. I'll just kind of turn it over to you then. Let you thank anybody you need to thank.
Honestly, I can't thank you guys enough in the booth. Like I say every week, it's always entertaining to go back and watch and listen to you guys, and you guys do a great job up there in the booth. Thanks to Full Throttle Sim Racing for putting on a fantastic league. Thanks to everybody for having a fantastic race again tonight. I mean, we've had 3 races here at Texas with 1 caution really early on in this one. These guys are, everybody here is fantastic. I can't thank you guys enough.
All right. Well, we appreciate that. We're going to pass it back over to Dean. But Dean, Richie Coy riding a lot of success right now. And do I dare say, calling a shot for next week, maybe?
A little bit. I like it. I love the call from Richie. He's excited to go there, but I got a guy down in victory lane, the 23, Mr. Brodie Hannah, back here, back-to-back victories. And I got to tell you, part of Fury Motorsport 1 and 2 finish yet again. And I think guys are getting a little envious, or should I say furious, perhaps.
I like that. I like Fury. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Awesome run tonight by the whole team. Well, not the whole team. Tony had issues early. They didn't get a lap in. But the other, with Richie there, awesome race, and awesome job by everybody out there, to be honest with you.
It really was. Great job. We talked a lot about the competition here tonight. And when we look at the board here, the lowest playoff guy, 11th place tonight, Brodie. You got to be on your game, and you guys are on it right now. But, you look at the rest of the competitors, nobody's going away here.
No, absolutely not. That's one thing Richie talked about when we were talking about after the race. He said, damn, my competition finished right behind me. So I didn't really gain anything points-wise. And I was like, yeah, you're right. even in the Cup Series. I'm dealing with that in the Cup Series. You have a good run, but it doesn't mean much points wise because you need to get to Phoenix. You need to win. You need to be in the top four. And luckily, Richie is in the top four. So happy for him. Happy for the whole team. I mean, just man, what a roll. I don't know. I don't profess to be this great racer, but man, things have just worked out the last couple weeks.
Well, they are, and you are. You've proven yourself 3-time champion here in the Truck Series. No doubt we can put you in that great category, Brodie, and you're on your game again. You know, you might have to give Richie a little something worse come Phoenix if you guys make it there. But we look ahead. Let's look ahead to Martinsville. Richie, excited to go there. Perhaps one of the few or only guys to ever say that about Martinsville in a playoff chase situation where anything could happen. How do you feel about Martinsville?
Let's just say the fun's over probably. Martinsville's not one of my favorite or one of my best tracks. I'll say that. It's enjoyable if I have the right feel for the truck, but that comes and goes too. So glad to hear Richie's confident. I think Richie's going to be a real threat out there, and he can get the job done. As far as our team, the 23 team, we're just going to go in there with an open mind. We're going to, have some fun. It really is. I said about this week last week that the pressure's off. We're just going to go out and have some fun. So we'll just do what we can at Martinsville. That's really not our focus, of course, right now is Phoenix. So that's what we're looking at. But
well, have you been on Phoenix, Brodie?
I have not. Usually, we'll probably do it some this week and start looking towards Phoenix this week. But like I said, Martinsville is going to be the race, but our eyes are on Phoenix.
Well, I love it. I mean, it's always nice to have a win. It's better to have two. Just makes you feel that much more confident. You can look ahead. I know you love Phoenix, so it's going to be hard for anybody to take this away from you. But I got to tell you, this competition, man, this battle, these people will not surrender. So you're going to have to battle for everything. You think maybe you're the man for the job. Great win here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. Old Texas, New Texas, doesn't matter. Hannah in victory lane again. Congrats, brother. And anybody you want to thank or anything you want to say about this great league you got going on?
Well, first off, I do want to make one more comment about Phoenix. Getting to Phoenix is great, but you're right. The competition here is so stiff. Just being in the championship battle is an accomplishment. Anything, I mean, it's one race. Anything can happen in one race. So you got to go in there with that mindset. And we're happy to be there, but one race can decide it all. So it's great to have 7 wins, but it really don't mean anything going to Phoenix. But I got to thank you guys again for putting the broadcast on, Dean and Brad here at Full Throttle TV. Got to thank my sponsor, Gladiator Garage Works. Got to thank the team, Fury Motorsports, for continuing to pump out these great competitive trucks. Got to thank the series sponsor, Blackwater Products USA, for putting on the series. And I got to thank everybody out there. Another terrific race here tonight at Phoenix. One caution, but everybody was on top of it. Awesome job. And now the challenge comes. We head to Martinsville.
You heard it, Brad. Now the challenge comes, and it is not for him, but for his teammates and for others. Martinsville going to be a huge challenge. Brodie not only solidifying his place at Phoenix, but putting a stamp on it here tonight.
Absolutely, and it's very interesting to see 3 totally different views going into Martinsville. I mean, you got the I dare I say a little dreadful from what it sounded like from Brodie there. Then you got the cautiousness from Bernie, and then you got just hand me the trophy. It'll be my 3rd or 4th win because we got there. So it's going to be very interesting to see next week. And shots have been fired, and let's go.
Yeah, let's go indeed. And, he was giving out all his thanks and everything. And I got to thank you for being here. I know you're a little under the weather, so hopefully all that gets a little bit better for you. And it's been a blast here tonight. But we got action all the time here, and we have Martinsville, which is going to be something because this points battle is so close. Anything can happen there. We'll have that Wednesday, 9 p.m. Make sure you come and check that out. But for tonight, from Texas Motor Speedway, that's going to wrap it up, and we'll see you right here next time on Full Throttle TV.